Rent a Girlfriend, a series that I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, whether that be from the idea of renting a girlfriend being a foreign concept that is managed to register in your brain, or how pathetic the protagonist is, or maybe even the author himself. Recently, Rent a Girlfriend has gotten a lot of buzz within the anime and manga community for its recent chapters, and all of a sudden, you have people speculating whether this is actually the ending or there's more to come. But yeah, as usual, we got a lot to talk about, so let's begin. Now, how can I not talk about the recent buzz around Rent a Girlfriend without talking about the plot itself? For those of you who have never heard of Rent a Girlfriend is a story created by Reiji Miyajima, the mangaka of the series, where it follows a guy named Kazuya who dated a girl named Mami who ended up breaking up with Kazuya after dating for a month.
繰り返そう。彼女はいる。ごめん。他に好きな人できちゃった。別れよ。
Damn, dude, that must be a new record. You got dumped by your own girlfriend after dating for a month. To cure his depression, he rents a girlfriend named Chizuru. And to clarify, yes, rental girlfriends are a thing in Japan. Not even kidding. Even iShowSpeed rented a girlfriend back at 2023 when he was streaming in Japan. Not surprised that Japan has rental girlfriends. Both South Korea and Japan's birth rates are so low that the governments had to resort to begging their citizens to reproduce, or at least encourage them to reproduce since they have a loneliness epidemic. True story, by the way. Cost of living is high there, and of course raising a kid is expensive. But anyways, Kazuya ends up dating Chizuru, the rental girlfriend, and I guess because the service, according to him, was inauthentic, he gave Chizuru a low star rating, which got her mad, obviously. Kazuya's grandmother collapsed during Kazuya and Chizuru's next date, and obviously Kazuya visited her to see if she's okay. But this is where things get a little tricky. Kazuya's grandmother went on the assumption that Chizuru is his girlfriend, and Kazuya can't bear to lie to her face, so they had to pretend to be a couple. Then Kazuya's friends saw him dating Chizuru while they were walking out, and also had the same assumption as Kazuya's grandmother, leading to the two of them pretending to be a couple in front of their friends and families. Kazuya meets another rental girlfriend, Ruka, who ends up blackmailing him into dating her, because if not, she will expose the truth to Kazuya's friends and family that he and Chizuru are not dating and that Kazuya has been renting Chizuru. Dang, hate to be in his position. So Kazuya, let's switch. Kazuya does meet more girls as the series goes on, but he is more interested in Chizuru, and Mami, well, yeah, she hates Chizuru and she wants to get back with Kazuya. And honestly, she had her opportunity, she might as well just rent herself a boyfriend. Which, now that I think about it, are there rental boyfriends in Japan? Let me check. Okay, so I went way too deep in the rabbit hole. That's fantastic. So yeah, that's the series. And I remember back in like 2020 when this manga got an adaptation, I watched it and I enjoyed it. I was in the middle of a romance phase when I was watching anime because number one, it was the pandemic, and two, I had no girlfriend, so cut me some slack, okay? Now, in my opinion, it was not as good as other romances that I've watched like Data Live or Toradora, but it was at least enjoyable. That is if you turn your brain off and forget that it never existed. If you use your brain for a couple of milliseconds, that gives your brain enough time to give you the realization that this series freaking sucks. Kazuya has got to be one of the most pathetic main characters, period, that he's willing to, not even kidding, beat off to the idea that his ex-girl's being ran through by another guy. Yeah, I wish I was joking. The girls in this show are blander than my great-grandmother's ashes. The plot makes less sense than that one difficult math question in my matric exam, and the development has left the chat like my will to live at 2022 during the final exams. Any logic that you use when reflecting on this show is gonna leave you with stage Joe Biden freaking dementia. And to make things worse, this plot spans out for over 380 chapters, with chapter 380 having so many people angrier than yeah, I ran out of ideas. And this rejection came after not only Kazuya asking Chizuru out on a date for real, not as a rental, but after he reportedly spent over $250,000 on Chizuru. Now, I've seen some people say that that's not true and they spent less or maybe spent more, but that doesn't really matter. He spent so much money on a rental girlfriend, all for her to reject him at the end. Kazuya may be pathetic, but at least he cares so much about Chizuru to the point where he sacrifices a lot for her, which honestly, it's a good trait to have, but also a very bad trait in and of itself because it kind of reflects how guys, they'll end up chasing the girl, buying them a lot of gifts, spending a lot on them, only for them to get rejected and still chase after them. This left so many people dissatisfied after this chapter. I mean, come on, you dragged this manga for 380 chapters only for us to see a rejection when it was so close? Now, I have seen people speculate that this is the ending, but as of recording this video, chapter 383 came out, which honestly, I'm gonna spare you. It's just a back and forth between Kazuya saying he still loves Chizuru even after the rejection, and Chizuru still rejecting him even though she feels bad. But to my knowledge, there is no official confirmation that the manga is ending soon. Now, one thing I have seen from many people online is that apparently Miyajima, the mangaka of Rent a Girlfriend, loves Chizuru to the point that the story was affected. Now, I gave him the benefit of the doubt at first since he must have a clear outline of the story made out, so it must be fake. Boy, oh boy, was I so heavily mistaken. The author loves Chizuru so much that he drew Chizuru into different sceneries that I'm guessing he took pictures of and pretty much dating Chizuru, ranging from outdoors, indoors, her in the shower, and I'm sorry, is that her underwear? Yeah, I did not learn my lesson since I watched School Days. I freaking hate my life. He also has a figurine of Chizuru where he took close-up photos of, right next to his photo of an egg. Now look, liking your character is one thing, trust me, I can relate to that. But this man, this is not it. This is an obsession. You need help. One thing that I did not know is that he also has another series called the Shuinji Family Children, which follows a story of Arata, the eldest son of the family, who lives with his 5 sisters and a younger brother. One day, his dad made a revelation that the siblings are not blood relatives. And with this newfound revelation, Arata now finds himself in an unexpected situation. So, I know I often say that some weird people need a psychiatric evaluation. This guy might have actually gotten a psychiatric evaluation, but was not fixed. My brother in Christ, are you okay? Honestly, after looking at all of what the author likes to do, I wouldn't be so surprised if this is the ending. Loving your own character to the point where it actually affects the story is definitely something I would obviously see myself getting mad at if I was a fan of this series. My best guess is that he saw the backlash and tried to fix it in his latest chapter, but it did not help. I know it's his story and he can do whatever he wants with it, but from my experience watching the anime, my best advice is to take the same approach as Solo Leveling and the Minecraft movie. Turn your brain off and don't even use any logic, because if you do, you're gonna end up with stage 10 brain cancer. So yeah, definitely a lot of this is interesting, and I'm putting interesting in a very, very light way. This is very strange. I'll probably make a follow-up video if there's any significant developments of this story, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I deeply appreciate it. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video whenever that is. Catch you guys later.